The great Brendan Marks has a new article out on Duke's rotation that you can get with The Athletic through the New York Times. And Brendan Marks is covering all things state of North Carolina basketball. He attended some of Duke's summer practices, had conversations with people within the program, and decided to kind of lay this out in written form on record of what he expects to be certain roles on this team. It's a great piece. We're not going to go player by player through all of the expectations, but he led with Isaiah Evans and then Caleb Foster. That felt notable to me, as if these two would be probably the most important kind of role pieces on this team. From the returnees, he did separate the returnees to the new faces. Pat Nagamba was next. Malik Brown was next. So you kind of get the pecking order there. When he got to Cam Boozer, he did what we would expect and said this season will go as Cam Boozer goes. He did raise an interesting question, saying, with the Cooper Flag comparisons, Cooper was an insane competitive engine. The question with Cam is, can he replicate that? He's not wired the same. How are the veterans going to respond to a Cam Boozer-led locker room? I thought that was interesting, but more interesting, the note of importance here to me in this is that there was a surprise in Brendan Marks's projected Duke starting lineup. And without further ado, I shall reveal it here. He says that Nick Kamenia, if he had to bet right now, if the season started today, would be Duke's fifth and final starter and not Dame Sarr. Won't read any more from this, but he compares Kamenia to Con Knipple in terms of situation, someone relatively under the radar who becomes a star. Thinks that his game and skill set could fit in very nicely around all the other pieces. If you're wondering why does Dame Sarr get a mention here, well, the Sarr write-up is not great. If there is one guy here that was negatively approached from Brendan Marks, it was Sarr. And just to read a few things on that, he said he's been good, not great thus far this summer. There needs to be better consistency, can have tunnel vision when driving to the hoop. There's an adjustment period. There's a learning curve for Dame Sarr, is what Brendan Marks has said. So, all right, there you have it. Kamenia in, Sarr potentially out in terms of what consensus would be on the Duke lineup. Do you think that Brendan Marks is onto something, and what do you think it means for Duke?
Well, I think that Nick Kamenia is a player that possibly brings something that maybe Dame Sarr can't bring at this point, which I don't know. To me, John Shire needs to do things that enhance what Cam Boozer brings to the table, right? And what you want is probably guys that have the ability to shoot the ball around him, especially if you're going to play a center in Big Pat, who is a non-shooter, right? So, you know, I think Dame Sarr is obviously a player that has lottery potential, and you don't want to overthink it in a lot of cases. But when it comes to shooting, Nick Kamenia is probably a better shooter than Dame Sarr is, and Nick Kamenia is no slouch in his own right. So, I mean, I guess I could see this if it is basically, I think John Shire doing what is best for surrounding Cam Boozer. But also, you could probably make an argument that Dame Sarr next to Cam Boozer would be really, really good as well.
Okay, so you don't think it's all that noteworthy here?
No.
Okay. Is that because of your own opinions on Sarr?
Let's go with yes. Let's go with yes.
Okay.
I think Dame Sarr has more potential at this point than production.
Okay. Interesting.
Not to
Okay.
say that there isn't, but
Okay. I think Duke fans would be surprised by this in general. Is that fair to say? Like, I think when Dame Sarr
no.
committed, no?
Part of the Brotherhood oath is the ninth commandment of the Brotherhood is thou shalt not question and or be surprised.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's fair. I just think when he committed to Duke, the expectation was, oh, we have like a first round pick guarantee star. And I don't know. It's interesting to hear this be put out, right? Because look, behind the scenes a little bit, one thing I can say, and I'm happy to just share from personal context here, not to like talk down on anybody like other people couldn't figure this out. But like when you work in this space and you cover things that are being said in the summer a lot, you talk to people who are behind the scenes. A lot of times it's very normal for every program to have at least 1 to 2 guys that you would hear basically what Brendan wrote about Sarr, right? Not trending in the right direction, to put it under an umbrella. Like, oh, surprising in a bad way. This isn't going well. There's friction. It's going to take some time, whatever. Very rarely do those things actually get published, right? They might be said, they might be shared behind the scenes, but it's usually like with the caveat of like, hey, off the record, this guy's taking some time, right? Now I don't mean to say that's good or bad. In fact, I would applaud Brendan for writing up what he saw. I think we need more transparency and honesty in reporting. One of my biggest pet peeves is when team specific reporters cover up things that aren't positive, right? But positivity sells with your target audience if you cover a team. So that makes it noteworthy to me, though, right? The fact that this is being put on record in September of, yeah, Dame Sarr's not exactly living up to expectation. That feels substantial. It feels like that would not be on record unless Marks felt pretty good about it. And I think we should file that one away because, look, I don't think Duke needs Sarr to be a national title winning team. In fact, I think one of my bold predictions a month ago was that Sebastian Wilkins would start over Dame Sarr.
Mm-hmm.
So Wilkins was even lower on the pecking order, by the way. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be right on that. But yeah, I just think it's one of those things. If you go through Sarr's sort of last year, there have been quite a few red flags, right? Barcelona basically locked the doors on him and said, you can't, you're not welcome back. He left in controversial circumstances. And Illinois backed off him, right? Illinois made him their priority target. And at a certain point, Brad Underwood said, look, this isn't worth this. We're out. We're going elsewhere. So that always felt ominous to me because Brad Underwood has not usually done that. He's very rarely draw the line anywhere. He'll take risks. And for him to say Dame Sarr is too risky felt like a little bit of a statement. So I think Duke is kind of finding this out on the fly here. The guy with the red flags that Barcelona said, you're gone. And then Illinois said, this is too pricey. Suddenly is trending out of the rotation or out of the lineup. That's interesting.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing that I didn't even think about that you just got on my mind too. One thing that Duke has had consistency in, I think, since I can remember, is they don't have volatile players.
Yeah.
They don't have players that put a wrench into things. Now, they might have bad basketball players. They're gonna have good basketball players. They mostly have good ones, right? But they don't have guys that, are what I would consider chaotic or volatile or maybe a wild card in some sense. Uh, Dame Sarr kind of falls into that mold given some of the things that have transpired over the past year. So I don't know. Maybe this is a peek behind the curtain in that sense.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
you feel safe with Kamenia on the floor.
Sure. Right. Maybe less error prone, possibly. I don't know enough about Kameni's game, to be honest. So that's the interesting part for me. It's not just Sarr trending in the wrong direction. I would buy that. It's that Kameni is the guy.
I mean, first guy in, last guy out. Um, Honestly, the most concerning part about this is that Nick Kamenia still rocks the bowl cut. That's alarming.
Yeah, we're gonna have to revisit that. I guess we'll see. Duke, game one starting lineup. What is it?
Caleb Foster, Isaiah Evans, Nick Kamenia, Cam Boozer,
Big Pat.
Patrick.
Yeah. I think that's the 5-2. I trust what Brendan is reporting as true here. Last question. At the end of the season, how many minutes is Dame Sarr playing in, let's say, the final NCAA tournament game of Duke season, wherever it ends? How many minutes does Dame Sarr play in that game?
7.
0.
Oh,
You want to know why?
because he's at Villarreal.
Because he's not on the team.
Oh, no.
I'll go bold prediction here. We're due for our preseason bold predictions episode now. I'm stockpiling these. I think he starts as like a 20 minutes a game guy. by end of December is like a 7 minutes a game guy. By end of January isn't with the program.
That's crazy, but also I don't even know if I'm giving you that many points for that one.
Yeah, I might not get any spice on that. We'll see.